Here's some appropriate music.
Hi, I'm Peter Brock, and it's my former teammate here, Cole Bond. Bondy, when we ran those XU-1s, I mean, when you were hot, mate.
No, they were great cars, Pete.
Yeah.
They were good for anything we wanted to do in those days, you know, whether we wanted to race them, rallycross them, or just drive up and down the highways.
Exactly. And we used to drive the absolute wheels off those cars.
Well, you could, I think. You know, they were a car that was nearly series production, you know, in those days, and they were cars that were capable of winning races, as I said, and all other forms of sport as well.
Especially that 202 motor.
Well, that didn't come out till later.
Yeah, but it wasn't that good. We finally got that 202. We said, right, Moffat.
And the big petrol tank.
And also, remember, we put the Monaro GTS 350 brakes on the XU-1, and that made them stop.
Well, it did for its day. I look at them today and I think, oh my God, we could have done better than that. But still, that was the top of the technology in its period, and the cars were fantastic.
They were a couple hundred horsepower.
Light.
We were young, we were silly, we didn't know any better on two wheels. It was all happening.
Well, true, you know, and I think we had a collection of different sort of brands of tyres and things to put on it as well. We weren't quite sure who was going to win a race until you went there sometimes, you know. And you look and you think, oh, I've got the Bridgestones on, or he's got the Goodyears on, or someone else has got the Dunlops on, you know.
Coin toss.
Coin toss. End of the day, guess who won? The one who had the best tyres. This one, Pete's about a bit of rallying and rallycross and racing. There's a lot what really happened in the early days of rallying. You know, we used to go testing with Harry and you'd be up on the mountain somewhere, you know, having a barbecue. But the bit about rallycross, oh my God, where did you get that dressing ground from?
I don't like this movie. I'd just like to say to everyone, don't watch it. Oh, no.
Rally Division Holden Dealers team, deep in the snowy mountains, testing for a national championship event. Driver Colin Bond and navigator George Shepherd have been out in their car since dawn, and they've tried their hardest to bust it. The machine can withstand the rigors of rallying, the toughest of all automotive sports. It's passed all tests, and that's what they report to team leader, Harry Firth.
Good. Back here. Now, I think the shocks are real good, particularly when we've got a full tank of gas.
First thought for the crew after the hours of testing is food. And then Bond and Firth check out every facet of the test session, for nothing can be left to chance. They're professionals, but also the most effective competitive partnership in Australian motorsport. The Holden Dealers team is built on professionalism. Its members are possessed with the ability to submerge their identities and operate as one. Colin Bond. He does little for a living but drive competition motor vehicles. An exuberant man, at first glance he doesn't seem capable of the killer instinct, the burning desire to win. Yet Bond is one of the rare breed of immensely skilled men who could make a motor car respond to their every bid. And he has won the nation's glamour race, the Bathurst 500. Bond has forged an impressive understanding with Firth. His team leader is recognised as one of Australia's leading motorsport figures. A brilliant engineer and innovator, a superb tactician with experience honed to a fine degree by years of rallying and road racing.
pressure we should put these in?
Oh, 28 to 26 vol, otherwise they'll get a crown under it. They've got to stop flat.
George Shepherd, navigator for Bond. Engineer, master mechanic, one man complementing the other. Driver, navigator. Firth is the hard taskmaster to his team. He demands all they've got.
Here comes Colin Bond to make his pit stop. This will show us just how quick the Holden dealers team mechanics are. Look at them go! Just look at those fellas move. It's fantastic to see the way they do all their work and whether they don't get any double straight, but that's too close that counts, and these fellas have got it right down to the T.
It's a tight-knit organisation, this Holden dealers team.
Take it up, Frank.
No more than a dozen members, and they've won every major touring car event on the Australian Motorsport's calendar. They have fierce pride in their achievements, and they have much to be proud of. But pride and satisfaction do not lead to complacency. With each victory, there's always the challenge of the next, looming, beckoning. Firth's unpretentious Melbourne garage mirrors the man. It is heavy with atmosphere, of wins and glory. Its walls are lined with nostalgia, the trappings of victory. They mean much to Firth and his team, here, in this garage, where the cars that brought back the trophies and garlands first saw life.
350. The big V8 is out handling the rest of the field, and with the driver of Bond's caliber aboard, they're so much faster it doesn't matter. It's a too much combination. The boards have dropped out of sight. Moffat went off a creek, and then Gagan blew a tire. So it's all Bond. Another win. No matter what the team fronts, they win. Round of the Manufacturers' Championships, same circuit, Warwick Farm, and the man out in front is Colin Bond. His car's the Monaro's baby brother, the Holden Torana XU-1, and the story's the same. First into creek, and away it roars.
With the rally only a few hours away, the final two members of the team arrived from Sydney, Barry Ferguson and David Johnson. And their love for the sport is such that they will fly 1,000 miles in a weekend for a rally. What sort of men are they? A food products factory seems an unlikely backdrop for a rally champion. Yet this is where you'll find Barry Ferguson, sales manager. He doesn't appear the type of man who would gladly spend 12 hours behind the wheel of a rally car. Ferguson is a driver of exceptional talent, and to those who do not know him, his appearance is beguiling. But in rallying, a driver is only as good as the man beside him, and the navigator who rides with Ferguson is David Johnson.
Beauty. Now over on the other spot now, Mike.
Surveyor by trade, Johnson, like his colleagues, is possessed of dogged determination, perhaps the most crucial of all attributes for rallying.
Morning, Harry. How are you? Pleased to see you.
And Firth is here to meet them, to assure them that their car is a winner, if they point it in the right direction. Ferguson and Johnson know their machine has been prepared with meticulous attention to every detail, no matter how minor, but they still check it out. Such is their goal of perfection.
That should be right, Barry. Pretty good now.
Firth can do no more. It is now up to his drivers and navigators, this challenge. The mechanics of rallying are second nature to the Holden dealers team. The endless rush through the darkness, the kaleidoscope of 1,000 bends, hills, creek crossings, the vastness of the forests, the emotion that forces you to accept sheer mental and physical torture, of the all-night grinds in the quest for victory. Struggling to stretch out a margin no matter how minor over the rest of the field. A break that might later mean the difference between a win and a loss over the final stages, when the cars and their crews are well into the night and the finish looms. It's a challenge Bond, Shepherd, Ferguson and Johnson have accepted and triumphed over a score of times. When the cars stop for the last major service point that leads into the final sprint, Bond and Shepherd are in a winning position. And to make certain they get to the finish line victorious, Firth is there to inspect the car, calling on his experience to locate anything even vaguely suspicious. It is the application of instinct. The years of endeavour, first as a driver and now a team manager. Firth is certain Bond will win tonight, but he will not unwind until the points are totalled and confirmation recorded. There's little apparent jubilation written on the faces of Bond and Shepherd. Now they're too drained from the night's hard work for emotion. Uppermost of their thoughts is the need for sleep.
Friendly 3AK time is now 8:20 and this is Baby John. I tell you that the Holden rallycross is on today.
Peter Brock has had a good night's sleep. He needed it, but in a few hours he too will be racing under the Holden dealers team banner in a form of sport equally demanding as rallying.
More rain forecast by the Bureau.
Peter Brock is the Holden dealers team's most colourful individual.
Currently in town.
Cavalier in approach to life, yet a brilliant driver. He likes his motor racing served up in small doses with a touch of humour. And why anyone would wish to drive all night is beyond him.
Oh boy, speaking of cold places, we have a report on the snowy rally coming up very shortly. Last we heard was that the Holden dealers team car of Colin Bond and George Shepherd was leading. As soon as we get the report, we'll let you know the winner. And we have the winner's report right now.
Stuart Robinson reporting for 3AK News from Bega. It's been a good 1-2 win in the snowy rally for the Holden dealers team. Colin Bond and George Shepherd led the field in this morning, 36 points down after 2 nights, and that's 23 points ahead of their
One thing
team.
getting back. Looks like you've done the business. What's that we go ring up Brocky and make sure he's out of bed for this rallycross?
Brock runs rallycross in a vehicle as extroverted as its driver. A one-standard Torana with the radiators in the boot to improve mid-air balance, engine back 2 feet to effect better weight distribution, and supercharged for a power gain of nearly 100 brake horsepower. Brock calls it the Beast. Once behind its wheel, Brock is uncatchable.
Yes, they're calling the cars out onto the starting grid for the race of the day. This is the one you've been waiting for, and we're assured of plenty of action. Here they come. That Torana looks too much. Won't win any beauty contest, but it goes like a jet, and that's all that counts.
Rallycross, as its name implies, is a cross-country rally with a difference. It's run within the confines of an artificial complex, in this case Calder Circuit, just outside Melbourne. Brock is defending his title as quickest man around the 1-mile course. But if it takes a special breed of man to win at this sport, it also takes a special breed of motorcar. The Beast has been specially strengthened, for it's about to be subjected to brutal treatment. Brock will run 6 laps with 3 other finalists. The track is exceedingly slippery, and one mistake will put him into a fence or ditch. But it drives with exhilaration. Exhilaration enforced by the knowledge that he is dominant. A dozen dizzy miles over the track, that's the embodiment of everything a car buster can devise. And they've won. Another achievement for Brock, for the car. Once a year, the international drivers come to Australia for the Tasman Series. Series production touring cars will be their stablemates as the main supporting feature. And they will compete for the prestigious South Pacific Championship. Today, Bond is practicing for the opening round of the series at Warwick Farm.
51.2, 8 seconds behind Bond.
It's a measure of the team's confidence that he is its sole entry. Firth brings Bond in. He has one of the fastest practice times, so there's little sense in running up a large time trial mileage. They have the measure of the opposition. That is enough.
Look at that heat haze. They look fantastic. All bunched up, juggling for position, weaving all over the place. But look at Bond, smooth as silk. Here he goes.
Bond will race over 40 miles of twisting, demanding Warwick Farm, a sometimes treacherous and unforgiving circuit. The Torana will round 800 corners. The engine will roar to maximum revolutions each time Bond changes gears. And in the hour, he will do that 400 times. In stamping the brakes equally frequently, he will wear out a set of special racing tyres. He will finish the race limp and tired from the strain of riding the razor's edge. He will step from the car without having made the slightest mistake. For motor racing is a sport that is unkind to those who fail to accord it respect. That is why Bond, Firth and the team have no peers.
Bond's well and truly out in front now, just a few laps to go, and look at this, Moffat's in trouble. Looks like a collapsed wheel, and that puts paid to any effective opposition to Bond. Nothing can stop him now.
And now the circus moves to Melbourne for round 2 of the South Pacific Series. The first win has given the team a crucial point score advantage, the essential break over the opposition that can lead to ultimate triumph.
And away they go. This will be a pretty tough race for Colin Bond. Sandown Park's made to order for the big Fords. They've used their immense horsepower advantage to full effect and have grabbed the top 2 slots in the time trials. Privateer John Goss is right up there behind the Works Fords of Alan Moffat and Bruce McQueen. But the bloke the crowd will watch is Colin Bond. He's back there in 4th in the little Torana, and he's clinging on like a leech. That's good brakes and handling for you. Point score lead with 1 race to go.
final, Bond and his car still lead the series on point score. Surface paradise suits the Torana, and if one can push the car through the field to the front rank by race's end, the title of South Pacific champion will belong to him.
And away they go. The big boards have boomed away again. It's a long drag down to the first bit. No twisty bits, but the big V8s are in their element. But back there in third, it's the Holden Dealers Team Torana of Colin Bond. Down the back of the course they go, and Bond is moving up through the corners. He's pressing McPhee hard. He won't give him any rest, and the instant the Ford even slightly wavers out of the line, the Torana will bounce and beat through in a flash. So McPhee had better watch out. And there's the move. Look at Bond. Brilliant piece of driving. I don't think McPhee knows where it came from. That was too much. And now Bond's out after Moffat. Got mixed up with some traffic, and that was enough for Bond. Through in a flash. He's one driver you can't throw an opportunity. So what's going to happen now? Moffat needs that first place to wrest the point score away from the Holden, but he's going to have his work cut out.
And Bond and his car speed to victory. When he crosses the line, he will have won 2 of the 3 races, winning the South Pacific Championship for the Holden Dealers team. It is an exercise of challenge and achievement. These men have sought to rise above the norm to a level where their labours give promise of new development. That is why the Holden Dealers team races, to win and to learn.
Pete, was that your house, or whose dog was it?
It's bad, isn't it? It's actually my brother's house. I think it was a hand-me-down dressing gown that my brother got off my uncle, because we were very poor, because us Brocks. His dog. But how'd you like that food? Well, I've always been pretty good whipping up a quick meal. It wasn't very appetising, was it?
I thought the pots and pans could have been a bit better too.
How did I survive?
Pete, Bathurst 72 was certainly your year.
Yeah, it was. Pinched your tyres.
Knocked my tyres off.
You didn't like that, did you?
No.
I was driving in the back paddock there, running away from you.
No, what really was quite funny in those days, I mean, here we were a factory team and we only had one set of wets and
well,
one
we worked
set
out of a factory, so we became a factory team, didn't we? Yeah.
And Harry said to me, well, which tyres you want? And I said, I'll put the wets on Harry, and anyway, as you do in those days, you wander off to the loo.
Yeah.
And the guys had pushed the cars out onto the grid. There was none of this, drive around the track like we do now, before the race. And when I came out onto the grid, I noticed that Peter had the wets on and I had the intermediates, see? And Harry just saying, oh, don't worry, cock, this rain won't last. These will be fantastic after
RR12s or something, didn't you?
No, I had some Dunlops, I think, that were just grooved, hand-grooved.
No, actually, yeah, that's exactly what I had on, but maybe mine had different grooves than yours.
You had the Goodyear wets, definitely the Goodyear wets, because I know that. Anyway, to cut a long story short, of course, it was very wet at the start of the race, and every lap up until the third one when I crashed, I sort of had a bit of a moment.
Yeah.
But if I had to survive that particular lap, I think I would have been all right because the track definitely was drying out.
The water lays in certain part of the track up there, doesn't it?
Oh, unbelievable, yeah.
And we'll go out at hammer and tongs trying to catch or put the pressure on Moff.
That's right.
Because we reckon that this is our best chance. XU-1, wet, Bathurst, Moff, pressure him, anything could happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's have a look at it.
There must be. I think it's going to take a lot more out of drivers.
Well, it's windy and cold up on Mount Panorama at Bathurst, where the Hardy Parade 500-mile endurance race will be starting shortly. So, while we wait to cross for the telecast of this classic sporting event, here's some appropriate music.
somebody would...
Lots of glum faces and damp people watching the track come alive. It's been raining steadily since dawn, and there's no sign of it letting up for at least a couple of hours. The rain has placed something of a damper on a usually colourful scene, and this will in fact be the first Bathurst 500 to be run in wet weather.
All drivers, please report to the dummy grid area for the official driver treatment.
No need to remind you that the road will be very much like a pork chop, so we would crave that you exercise a little caution. Up in the McPhillamy, yesterday a lot of drivers were cutting that corner and throwing a lot of gravel up onto the track. So if somebody goes off there through gravel being thrown on the track, there's nothing we can do about it.
Flames on. Flames on. 1, 2, 3 and 4, stand by.
This is ATN Channel 7 in Sydney, calling in stations of the National 7 network. We now take you direct to Bathurst for the official telecast of the 1972 Hardy-Ferodo 500.
You're on cue.
And the cars are coming out now. It's a wet and dismal scene, really, but still a great sense of excitement in the air. This is Bathurst, the only race of its kind in the world. Absolutely unique, and it's certainly run on one of the world's great tracks.
All pit crew must clear the grid at the 1 minute ball. All pit crew must clear the grid at the 1 minute ball.
Well, with time running out, let's swing into our interviews and go down on the grid to look at Harry Firth and the Holden dealers team.
Harry Firth, you're having a good look at your tyres. It's wet. Is that going to be the story of the race?
I don't think so, really.
Well, the story of the race should be that the conditions will aid the Toranas fully. These small, light machines with their powerful six-cylinder engines and superb suspensions will be better balanced in the wet. These scenes were shot during the time trials yesterday when the team fully sorted out their tyres, and they could well score an advantage here. Firth has two brilliant drivers in Bond and Brock. The latter is the faster on this occasion. He's only 2.7 seconds slower than Ford Works driver Alan Moffat.
We prefer to have a dry race, obviously. The situation is that what worries
Well,
me
you heard him say it. The weather will be the story of the race. Although, to be fair, even if it were dry, the result would be very close, because while the Falcons have virtually reached the end of the road in development, being a last year's model, the Toranas are still being improved. Ford have won the last two Bathurst 500s, and they're out to get the hat trick. It'll be a marvellous achievement if they do so. In fact, it'll be unprecedented. But I imagine that no one in the team is under any illusion that it will be an easy win. 500 miles around Bathurst is a long way, and with this weather and such a slippery track.
The field will soon be on its way in the 1972 Hardy-Ferodo 500. Flag should be dropping any moment.
between three, it's Moffat, leading at the end of lap 1. Second is French. Brock is next in the Torana, which means Gibson and Goss have slipped back in their Falcons. Bond is third, then Moore. XL bend again, where you saw them come over the hump in a wall of spray. Moffat, closely followed by French. A slight gap to Brock in the first Holden. Then Bond and Moore with their lights on. Goss is in 6th, Gibson 7th, then Gagan in the first Charger. West in a Falcon, then Chivers. Up the top, Bond and Moore with their lights on, now the S's, and Moffat taking it very easy. The big Falcon looks very skittish. One slight mistake and he could have a spinner. Forrest Elbow, French holding second, Brock's very close. Bond's dropping back a little, he's sliding a bit, and Moore's right on his tail. French has gone down the escape road. That lets Brock into second. Bond third, Moore fourth. Here comes French. He must have gone down the escape road at the end of the straight. That shows you how slippery it is because French is no mean driver. Through the cutting, second time up the mountain. Still Moffat.
Okay, fellows, we'll follow Colin Bond around this time. Stand by NBN. OB2.
Well, we've picked up Colin Bond in the Holden dealer team Torana.
I've got him down the bottom. He's coming around Mountain Straight now. He's coming up the
This is the man who won the 69 500 in the Monaro.
Look at Bondy.
And he's gone.
Bondy's gone. Look. Oh, bugger, look.
Colin Bond has crashed at Reed Park.
Stand by, Studio D. We'll have a replay of this crash. Stand by.
Now, here's the replay. Look, he just seems to understeer straight off the track. Could be the wind. Hits the barrier. Goes onto his roof. Slides across the track. Rolls back on his wheels. It looks as though he hits a drain or an obstruction of some kind because he goes again. This is a bad one. That could be an N for N. I think he must have hit a patch of wood.
Bond gone, Holden's hopes right with Brock and Moore, and they're pushing Moffat hard as he skates the big Falcon down through the S's. Moffat at least will be glad that he's got one of the nimble Toranas off his back. Colin Bond is all right. He's coming to the pit.
But you went round the lap and the track was quite all right. They said you were flying out, and it was the same again. Someone must have switched them around the course a bit more.
Once it left the road and got to the dirt, there was no controlling and hit the arm coil. Ran up on two wheels for a while, then sort of fell on its roof and just slid across the road and finally finished back on its wheels again on the other side of the road.
Situation is that you'll see there's a very good private Torana right behind Brock. So that like us, Harry's got some good fracas in the private people. The race is in very early condition. It's a shame for the opposition they should lose a car this early.
And Brock's got him, slipped through on the run down to Forrest Elbow. Moore's looking for a way past too. The Falcon's definitely slower across the top where it's treacherously slippery. Moffat will pull out the stops down the straight. Now let's see who leads past the pits. Yes, it's Moffat again. He might be taking it easy up the top, but on the straight, he's giving the V8 all it's got. Up the top again, Reed Park. Brock held up by traffic a little, and Moore's gone. Must have spun somewhere. And here's French with the foot down, now in third, out after Brock. There's Leo Gagan. According to our chart, he's up in fourth. And French has forged his way back to second. A great effort by the Ford driver. There's John Goss, back a fair way. Started in second slot, but 4 tyres and a quick pit stop have dropped him to, must be about 7th. There's Gibson with Chivers in the Charger, giving him a hard time.
Picking up Fred Gibson in a moment in the Works Falcon. He's a fair way down after a moment on that slippery first lap.
Gibbo's going.
And look, he's gone. Gibson's
No,
wrong.
look, he's still going. Hey, look, Black Car's just missed him.
That was a fearful accident. The Falcon took a real hammering, but Gibson stayed with the car, and his harness should have saved him from any injury.
Yes, there he is. He's all right. You'll notice how the roll cage protects him.
That's great. Stand by, Studio D. Let's see a replay in slow motion. Thank you.
2 drivers out.
Roll it when you're ready.
You'll notice that he's all beige means he simply had a lose, that no one pushed him.
What's this, Frank?
Car rolled side to side, and right at the finish he's there.
Right on the top.
We saw you in rather animated Gibson. What telling you?
What happened, basically, he said in Muddy up there, you can't miss out by half an inch. He had the car go round twice, backwards, and then went in, unfortunately, to the bank.
Well, if 2 top drivers like Fred Gibson and Colin Bond can go out, this indicates just how dicey things are.
Anybody who's still out there is doing well.
Moffat spun. He's up a bank at Reed Park, near where Bond went. That's 2 quick body blows to Ford. Gibson crashing, and now Moffat in trouble. That puts Brock and the Holden Torana into place. Because French has fallen into pits with tyre trouble. The Works Torana has hit the number 1 slot. There's Moffat and Moore in close company. Moffat still in second, Moore holding down third. Brock safely in first place. Moffat doesn't seem to be gaining on him that much, but the weather's definitely finding up, and once the track dries, the Falcon will cut into the deficit. But Moffat's coming in, and it's not a scheduled stop. He's quite a few laps early. The car might be in trouble. Yes, it's tyres. This is bad luck for team manager Marsden. Gibson gone, and now Moffat in trouble. Moffat's got the capacity to make up the leeway because it doesn't look like a long stop, but it must be galling sitting there while Brock and the other front runners get further ahead.
Front run, the field being poured in on the first turn. It's going to be a full field stop this one as well with the driving of the pit crew. Not getting any action. Track management.
Out he goes in barely more than a minute and a half, but he's now in sixth. And there's a development.
Alan was under the impression that we had finished and started the car. We immediately stopped the car and then we started again as we had completed the fueling. In other words, no advantage.
There's Harry Firth telling Brock to ease off. No sense in straining the car. Firth obviously thinks Brock can hold his lead through pit stop. Ground up the top, and Alan Smith's Charger. Pity, he was making up a lot of ground. And now John Goss is in trouble.
We made a wrong decision on tyres. We anticipated that the weather would lift earlier than it has. And so we found ourselves out there in heavy, wet timber, semi-slick tyre. Cost us a lot of time, but we'd recovered from that when we had an engine tightened up and I just had to switch off going up the main road.
They're bringing Peter Brock in for his first pit stop. It's at 47, and it should take about a minute and a half to change tyres and take on a full load of fuel. He's still holding first, but this is where he could lose the lead.
That's going, Pete. Going well.
The brakes are just getting bedded in. Very nice.
Theo Gagan, who's got up to second, is approaching the bottom of the straight. Gagan's taken the lead in the Charger, but he shouldn't hold it for long because he's due for a stop. And the Holden dealer team mechanics are working very quickly, so Brock shouldn't lose too much ground. We've had the clock on this one, and it looks as though it's 1:36. There he goes in second slot. Shivers driving a consistent race and Holding is in third. French is holding down fourth. And here comes Moffat. He's got the boot down in fifth and climbing back. Gagan has pitted. Brock's back in the lead, but we've just heard that he's also been penalised a minute for a refuelling miscue.
Oh, they docked us for a minute, and there are circumstances for which we feel one of the tags pulled out with the filler. When they put it on, when he started it, and then they made him stop it, they took it off and fixed the tag and then put it back on again, and he started again. So that does not contravene the rule.
Ford will be a lot happier now. That brings Moffat a lot closer. And pit calculations show three-quarter distance. Moffat should be breathing down Brock's neck. All the stops out. Ford pits are keeping him well advised, and he's making up huge amounts of ground with laps approaching records. The Holden dealers team pit will be watching his approach very carefully. Brock's pit are obviously aware of the danger from Moffat, but at the moment they're more concerned with French. He's gone past Shivers, and he's reeling in Brock very quickly. The track's drying quickly, and the Falcon can use all its immense horsepower. Brock, however, still has the crucial advantages of better tyre and fuel consumption, and he should be able to fight off the challenge. French has gone into the pits for his second stop.
Letting the car down now. Starting the motor up.
A short-lived piece of glory, and time could be against him now because Brock will gain 2 minutes, almost a lap, and French will still have to make another stop. Out he goes in fifth. Now Shivers is in. The stop has dropped him from the third he gained during French's stop. Amazingly, the Charger is banking on one stop, which with consistently fast driving has kept it up amongst the leaders. But this stop looks very slow. Whereas the works team have sophisticated equipment, Shivers' crew is working with rudimentary gear, and he is losing a... This has been a great race, and the slow stop must be annoying for him. But out he goes, faced with a long climb back up the placings list. Moffat's into his second stop. He's got to within 12 seconds of Brock, but the stop will drop him back another 2. So, to be with Brock at the flag, he's going to have to drive even harder. Let's watch this stop, because we understand that after his minute penalty for starting the car's motor during his first call to pits, that officials are going to keep a close eye on him. Mechanics will also keep a close watch on the situation, because any further delay could be fatal to Moffat's chances. looks like it's going to fast stop too. And he's done it. Moffat's gone early. He's fired them for the completion of refueling. An incredible mix-up. It's amazing. This could happen 2 stops in a row. And look, he's got a minute penalty. This will make his task almost impossible now. It puts him at least 3 minutes behind, and he's got to make up 3 seconds a lap to catch Brock, who's still turning very quick tires. Brock coming around again, he's very secure. But he's getting behind too, so it's now a race of tactics. Pit tactics play a big role in the Bathurst 500, but to win a car has to be a definite front runner, and Brock is looking good. Brock will have a big advantage though. The stop again should be about 1.5 minutes. It gives him half a minute over French in time.
How is the puller? Going well? Able to draw? What's the track like in this stage? It's still very deep. Bit of rubber around the
And out he goes. Time in the pits, 27. No one's passed him, and with the chasing Falcon still needing a stop, he's in full command with 40 laps to go. Some other drivers won't see out those 40 laps.
Had a front left-hand tyre deflate, which we ran off the road into the safety fence, and consequently into the bush near a tree, which stopped the car quickly, and we're out of the race. We were quite confident, you know, we're doing it pretty easy, and the car's brand new, no problems at all, and that's motor racing, you know, one of those things.
Brock continues to consolidate his lead. He's driving superbly while others can wilt under the tremendous pressure. Higgin in trouble. He's in the pits with electrical problems. His crew's just replaced the battery, but it'll mean a push start, his second of the race. This will mean another minute penalty. So on our calculations, that's to drop Gagan back to around 4th or 5th, behind Shivers, with the lead being fought out between Brock and French. There's Brock, the leader, still nicely out in front. French is closing the gap, although he's still got that 1 pit stop go. And here's drama, an unscheduled stop by Moffat. Last time in, he was complaining about the Falcon's brakes, and this could be the reason for him bringing the car in so soon. Yes, it looks as though the mechanics are checking out the system. No effort to change tyres. No one's worrying about topping up the fuel tank. I'd say that this stop will develop into a lengthy one. That'll mean the end of his chances of taking the 500 from Brock. Very disappointing moment for the Fourth Works driver. After his early troubles, he was consistently making up ground. This looks as though it will put paid to his chances. There's the mechanics working on the brake lines. A very unhappy Howard Marsden. Must be a bitter moment for him. But at least he and his driver and the car are going down fighting. Moffat again. Wonder what he's thinking. He's lost so much time, he'll be lucky to finish first 10. Sad end to a fine effort.
Well, learn something else. This is one of the reasons why we're in motor racing. We found another weak link in the chain. Unfortunately, we've had to find it out in front of a lot of people and all the television viewers. But we now know that we have another problem to solve in the brake area. That's all there is to it. It's the reason why we're motor racing is to improve the breed. Now, at this stage, though, you still have all is not lost, but we rely on the opposition braking to get this race. And that's something that I never ever bank on.
Well, what's the thing at this stage? Just everybody keeping nice and cool and... Yes. We'll be keeping it a bit cooler very shortly, but look at it too. There seems to be a bit of a black thing on the horizon there. It'll sharpen everyone up again. But you told him to slow down? No, I haven't told him anything. He knows what to do.
Right. Minute penalty. It doesn't endanger him in any way?
No, not really.
He's that far in front of Fred.
He's far enough.
Look at this, the race just outrun and drama in front of it. Murray Carter has put his Falcon into the fence at Murray's, and he doesn't know that the bodywork is ripping into the tyre. He'll be lucky to get around the track, and he has to do that. Regulations say he can't back up. Carter's made it in. Look at that tyre, shredded to pieces, and look at that bodywork. Rushing in to get him out on the track again, because Carter has the capacity to finish around about 10th. Driven a sure and steady race. Must be galling to be sitting in the pits like this, with mechanics tearing at the car. And they're hanging at it too. There's no time for niceties now. There's some body work in the road, so the mechanics are chopping it off. It's the quickest way. There's a good look at the ruined tyre. The Holden dealers team pit is making certain that Brock realizes that French is in the runner-up slot, and that as long as the purple Falcon doesn't pass him, he's got the 500. There's Carter out again with his body modifications. French is trying very hard over these closing laps. been a magnificent effort by the Queensland driver, and second slot will find reward for his efforts. Brock's pit obviously wants a little more room between their driver and French, because the official lap scoring system suggests that the Torana is only 68 seconds ahead. By the time you take away the minute penalty, that's not much. And French is finding that all of a sudden he's gaining, so his die is cast. He will finish second, Bathurst will get third position, with Gagan slipping fourth because of the penalties for push start. Brock has shown that he and the Torana have been saving something for a lot of effort. And down they come, for the second last time, Peter Brock, at the wheel of a car that on this track, this day, has recorded a class victory. 1 lap to go, 1 lap to victory.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've all seen one of the most thrilling races possible at Bathurst today. It's gone extremely well, and I'm sure you will all agree that Peter Brock, this brilliant young 27-year-old Melburnian, has driven a faultless race, and I think we can all feel very proud of his achievement. So with that, taking into account the tremendous stress he must have been under all these hours, with no further ado, I should like to make the presentation of the Hardy Frodo Plus. Here he goes.
Bonnie, that crash of yours. Now, I remember distinctly you telling me that you tried to fire the car up and drive it back to the pits.
Exactly.
It was a bit bent, wasn't it?
Well, it wasn't as bad as it was when it turned back to the pits, but it was...
What happened on the way? Did something else happen?
Absolutely. But what really happened was we just understeered initially and we got out onto the wet bit of the track, and as I said, we had the intermediates on. And
once you hit grass, it accelerates.
Well, that's it. And we hit the fence, and it ran on 2 wheels for a while, and I'd seen those guys drive the cars on 2 wheels, so I thought, this is okay, I can do this.
In fact, they'd been up there that weekend, hadn't they?
I think they
Were you
had
inspired?
Actually. No, I wasn't inspired. But then all of a sudden it fell onto its roof, you know, and then it's skidding along.
That wasn't good on its roof.
Well, what I noticed in particular was that all I could see out the windscreen was grey, and it was going past very quickly, and I was pushing the brakes as hard as I could, and it wouldn't stop.
No. I remember we often used to joke that we had troubles down the straight passing the big HO Falcons. But once, if we had a bit of a lose in practice and got onto the grass, we reckoned the car would accelerate. So we often reckon, you got to pass Moffat, just drive on the grass.
I know. But then what really happened, when I left the car and I came back to the pits, and I said to the boys, well, it rolled over, but it's not bad, you know, the front wheel's hanging off it. Yeah. And then after the race, they left the car there for the full race. And after it, I think that the guy who picked it up was obviously a tow truck man who was a Ford lover, and he put a chain through the roof and picked it up, and it just made the roof go like this, and all the doors come in, and then proceeded to crash into the back of the car on the armco on the way back. Because when it got back to the pits, it was absolutely destroyed. And I'm just trying to tell the boys it wasn't that bad.
All right, CB, this time we'll have a look at the 73 Bathurst. We were a bit different, our cars that year, weren't they?
They were, but we still had pretty good speed. I think your car in particular.
I had Webbers on my car. You had SUs on yours.
Yeah.
Mine was a bit thirstier.
Well, that was the idea of Harry's, I think. You know, we might have been able to get away with one less stop or whatever it was in the SUs, and trying to calculate all those things in those days.
Anyway, we ran out of juice on my car.
Yeah.
And I'm just
Poor old
watching
Doug.
Doug Shivers. It passed. Here he was struggling up pit lane, and I've just got him and just flung the man. Oh, no. Sorry, Shiver, you're out of here. Disgusting, wasn't it? Oh.
Use by date's gone.
Yeah, gone. Yeah.
But
So
it
poor
was.
Shiver, yeah.
I had to laugh when I looked at it, and they're pushing him up to the line. And everyone's going, where's the line? Where's the line? I don't even think the officials honestly knew, but they just felt sorry for him.
Mechanics, Peter Burns and those guys and Ian Tate jumping up and down.
Oh,
yeah. Very exciting, wasn't it?
Yes. Time trials for tomorrow's classic endurance motor race, the Hardy-Ferodo 1000. The teams are running 3 sessions, and the time of the cars will count toward their positions on the start grid for the race. There's Colin Bond in a Holden dealer Team Torana. He won this race in 1969 in a GTS Monaro. There's Peter Brock, last year's Bathurst winner, talking to his co-driver Doug Shivers. There'll be a formidable combination tomorrow. Because of the conversion to kilometres, the race tomorrow will be 100 miles longer than it was last year. And around Bathurst, which is probably one of the world's toughest motor racing circuits, that's a lot of extra miles. Many people say the Fords, with their bigger engines, they've got V8s compared with the Torana's 6s, will run away with the race because of their power advantage. The general feeling is that the lighter weight and superior handling will give it ultimate victory. We've been watching the pit action pretty closely during today's trials, and it's obvious that both teams have been paying a lot of attention to the vital business of fuel consumption. From what we understand, there's no hope of the Fords getting through the 1,000 kilometres with fewer than 3 stops. But the Holdens might make it. And if that's the way they play it, they'll score an immense advantage. So today is going to be a very vital affair for the drivers and their crews. Words coming through now from the timing officials in the control tower. It looks as though John Goss will be on pole, and... well, this is a little surprising. Brock is also on the front row in his Torana, ahead of the Fords of Moffat, Gibson and French. Bond is next fastest, so the outlook is certainly for a tremendous race, because both Ford and the Holden dealers team look pretty even. So that's the way it looks. A Ford's on pole position, but that doesn't really mean a lot. It's staying ability that will count, and the Toranas must be in the box seat. But motor racing's motor racing, and as anything can happen, perhaps it's a little premature to make predictions. One thing for sure, it's going to be one hell of a race, a real knockdown struggle. See you tomorrow. It's a beautiful day, just like yesterday, and this is quite a contrast to last year's rain.
4 hours is the expected
Sydney,
duration
stand by to roll
of this
the
1973 event.
interview, please.
And again,
Interview with
Channel
Holden
7
Dealers.
lining the circuit among
Stand by to tell
many
Chelsea.
of the media that are going to cover this.
We'll have it now,
Of
roll.
course, preparations have been going on for weeks, and in the last few days they've been quite intense. And of course, yesterday it was practices. Today, it's the race itself, and by tonight, history will have been told. And Harry Firth, as always, keen to talk about his strategy, keen, that is, to say what he wants to say, but no more. Always guarded, but always prepared. And
BP's been busy, big crowd pouring in, and crews carrying out last-minute adjustments, like that sticker going on the Torana. It's a pretty busy time, but the race not very far off at all. Crowd of 30,000, officials say, should be a tremendous race. I wonder who she barracks for. Quite a contrast this year with the sunshine. This time last year, it was pouring rain in a somewhat dismal scene. Dunlop people working flat out, getting tools ready. Very busy scene. 60 cars in the race, and they've got them lined up in the paddock now, so it shouldn't be too long before they let them out onto the track. 60 cars, that's 120 drivers, and a lot of pit crew. Catching up on time. Traffic still banked up, some BP racing fuel. And look at that, some last-minute patching of someone's driving suit. Well, that's leaving it a bit fine. Quite warm. The forecast is for temperatures up around 80. Plenty of coach will be sold today. Won't be long now, half an hour to the start in one of Australia's greatest sporting events. Just half an hour to go. And here they come. That's car 1, the Holden Torana of Peter Brock. Last year's Bathurst winner, he set second fastest time in official trials yesterday. It's an impressive scene, and as well as the 30,000 spectators here, there's a national television audience of an estimated 3 million people.
Will take you on, Brock.
Which is out,
You're on.
again, to challenge Ford for honours in this Australia's premier motor race.
And Peter Brock getting last-minute instructions from his pit manager, looking very cool and calm despite the tremendous pressure. Harry First, the Holden dealer team leader, listening into what they say. Look at that heat haze rising off the grid.
Very competitive Toranas.
Colin Bond and Alan Moffat posing for a photograph before moving to their cars. Good friends on and off the track, and in a matter of just minutes now, they could be locked in a serious struggle for a major place.
Those in front of him, up on the front one, getting into his car.
Brock putting on his helmet, starting time getting very close now.
All the drivers are using. Alan Moffat doing likewise, and the starter walking ominously towards
Bond getting into his Torana. And there's Brock going into his car also. Mechanics will be moving in to belt them in. Now the starter's on his waiting stand. This is a very tense moment. The drivers, they sit in their cars having a final word to the crews who will soon be leaving the grid. Just minutes to go now. What's running through their minds? Last minute instructions. How many fuel stops? Who'll be in the main opposition? Hope I get through that first corner, okay? There's no accident. What do I do with the drive? I win. There's the time. Just a few minutes to go. Very tense moment. 3-minute board has gone. All crews are off the grid. There's the 2-minute board. Just 2 minutes to go. This is the moment, just before flagfall, when drivers get very tense. 1 minute to go. 1 minute to go. Motors now revving up. Flags up. Thousands of horsepower will be unleashed in seconds. There it goes. The 1973 Hardy Perodo 1000 is off. And look at God. He's really burning rubber.
And so they climb Mount Panorama for the first of 162 times. 1,000 kilometers of torture for man and machine in a classic race that is like no other. An enduro in the fullest sense of the word. A supreme test that would expose the full range of human emotions. From the elation of a win to the pain of a loss. From happiness to despair. From laughter to tears. This track can be brutally unforgiving. Yet they come back each October with their machines to drive themselves hard for the garland that comes with victory in this, the toughest of all automobile events, the Bathurst 1000. This is the story of a team that has known the glory that comes with a win on this tough ribbon of bitumen. It is familiar with the awesome effort required to mount a victorious attack on the race. Yes, it has known elation, happiness, laughter, and yes, it does know the meaning of pain.
Slipstream, and he's going to slip fast to take up second slot behind John Goss, who's really flying. Last time, yes, and it's Goss, Moffat, French, Gibson, and Brock, who's very close to the big V8. It's a cracking pace. They're really standing on the anchors to slow them for Murray. Tight and a trap for the bull, sure unwary. Round they go. Goss, Moffat, French, Gibson, Brock. It's a terrific sight as they fly past the finish. 1 lap down, 161 to go. The
The pack's in full cry and setting a fast and furious pace. Over to the mountain commentary position.
Yes, and here they come up over the hump for the second time, and it's still Goss. Then Moffat, French, Gibson and Brock, and where's Bond? Ah, yes, there he is, still way back. Shouldn't take him too long to climb up through the field. XL, it's a very dicey corner when it's slippery or full of cars. Reed Park. Look at Goss, he must have his boot right in it. That gap's amazing. Brock still with the leaders.
Drama at XL behind the pack. One of the smaller cars is in trouble.
We'll come back to it in a minute. We've got Brock's Torana pushing Gibson really hard through the downhill S's. Yes, see it now. Really run out of steam. Forest elbow. The Torana's right on Gibson's tail. This is where Brock is awfully quick, right across the top where it's fairly twisted.
We've got an ambulance on the way out down here. Must be up your way. What is it?
It's at XL. A Mini has crashed. Not sure who it is. Can't make out the number, but I think the driver's all right. Crash crews have arrived on the scene. And here go the leaders. Goss, Moffat, Gibson. He's past French, and Brock's still with them.
Ambulance there yet?
Yes, it's here. It's John Layton. He's hurt, but he looks all right.
Past the pit. Goss still moving away. The others content to sit back a little, I think. Someone just said that Goss has turned a new lap record. Wow, he's really moving. There's Moffat. Gibson, French, Brock still clinging on in fifth. Oh, Morris has gone from sixth spot. Yes, he is in the fifth. Out after just a couple of laps. That's bad luck.
Trouble already. You must be very unhappy. Look up on top of the mountain, the crash truck's out.
There go the leaders past Reed Park, doing around 100 miles an hour here. Brock still with them.
Goss slowly pulling away. Moffat and Gibson close together. Then French, with Brock right on his hammer. He can't shake the Torana.
First action in the pits, Rice is in with tyre trouble.
And the leaders are passing the ambulance, taking Layton to hospital. We'll let you know how he is as soon as we get a report.
Goss on his way down, probably doing around 155 miles per hour.
Crash truck's collecting a second Mini at XL.
Big question is how long can he keep up the pace?
Up top, Brock pressuring French. The oil flag's out at Skyline.
And here's the leader.
It's Gibson. He's out. Look at that smoke. I'd say the engine's cooked from the hot pace.
That's the major positional change. And, oh, look, someone stuffed it into the fence and held. There's French up to third and Brock up a slot to fourth. They're pulling down Gibson's lap board. The Ford Works team has been cut in half. Moffat over the hump, and French is missing. Look, Brock's up into third. Here's a major change. No, he is not out, he's in the pit. I wonder how we missed that. Carver with a blown tyre. It's all happening down here.
Moffat switched his lights on as he comes up to XL. Brock's starting to make up ground. He's just 2.5 seconds behind.
Gibson's walked back to the pit. He's talking to team manager Howard Marsden. The crash crew's working at getting that car out of the road at Hell Corner. It's an exposed position. It could cause an accident.
Goss through the S's again, still going hard.
And French is still in the pits. That puts him well back. Goss, in the meantime, still leading. He's pulled out a 10-second advantage. French is out again. Brock's closed right up on Moffat. That gap's down to a second. Carter's come into the pits. Front right-hand tyre ripped to shreds. Carter hasn't been going too fast, and this stop will drop him back even further and right out of contention.
And down through the S's, the Torana's right on Moffat's tail. Brock's definitely a lot quicker across the top of the mountain. Bond back in fourth, motoring quietly.
And the first major pit stop of the race, Goss is in. He's worked up a 14-second lead, which is quite substantial, but he'll now lose at least 2 minutes. There goes Moffat. He's taken over the lead from Goss, which will make Marsden happy. Brock's going through as well, and that will please Spur. 3 new tyres and a full tank of fuel. And here comes Bond, which means that the new driver, Bartlett, will resume in 4th position. There's the time and the details.
The duel between Moffat and Brock is now for outright honours, and it's particularly vital for the Ford driver to hold the coveted number 1 slot because he'll be pulling in for fuel and tyres soon, and every second counts. Through Forest Elbow, Brock's right on his tail. Let's see what happens down the straight. Moffat can't afford to hang about, and Brock can't afford to let himself be shaken free. It's over a mile to Murray's Corner, and it's downhill all the way. Moffat and Brock will get to about 150 miles an hour, which is staggeringly fast, but it's quite safe in these modified cars, and the drivers are super skilled. Brock still holding on. This is amazing. 6 cylinders versus a big V8, and it's pretty even all the way.
Over the last half, lunging down towards Murray's, and it's Moffat, but Brock is only a second behind. Something's got to give, someone's got to crash, and one thing's for sure, it won't be Brock.
Oh, Brock's got him into XL, and Moffat's all out of line. Well, look, there he goes. It's a big 180. Now Moffat's in sight, and he's going to lose a lot of time here because getting the Falcon pointed the right way will be difficult. The track's very narrow. How he didn't fall off, I'll never know. Moffat's a very lucky driver. Cool, those minis were close.
Brock's on his way down the straight, well ahead.
Moffat's got it together, but I calculate he lost close to 40 seconds there.
There goes Brock past the 6. That should give his crew something to smile about. And Moffat's coming straight in. It's a wise move. He might have flat spotted a tyre because that was a vicious spin. Going on might cause a blowout. Ian Gagan will take over now, and he's got quite a task in front of him. And with a 2-minute stop looming, Brock will now go close to lapping the board. Going to be a close thing. Oh yes, and there goes Brock. He's put himself a full lap up on the Ford. An unhappy Moffat watches as Gagan goes out. They're in trouble now because Brock can hold the margin, and his stop will be less than 2 minutes, which will still give him a 35-second lead. Vital driving said, and Marsden must be feeling a little apprehensive. Brock, the driver is looking good. It's 2 minutes 40 seconds in front, and as I pointed out, the stop will take nothing like that. Chivers out to the car. First drive for the Holden dealer team, and he means to acquit himself well. Watching from the sidelines, Harry Firth. It's a vital stop for him, too. Car number 1 will lose his lead here, but not to worry, because the man who's about to sweep past is Holden Bond in Torana number 24. Yes, there he goes. Brock, still tense with excitement, heading for the pit counter. It's been a brilliant drive. Never let up for an instant in his pursuit of the lead. And now he's got the Torana in a dominating position.
Playing it pretty cool. And at the moment, Doug is playing it very cool as far as fuel consumption is concerned. But unfortunately, the fuel gauge has stopped working. But the car is misfiring 3 laps before it runs out through Forest Elbow. Just assuming that the fuel consumption is going to remain static, and, you know, it should be okay.
Down in the pits, it's Leo Gagan waiting to take over from Holden Bond. So it won't be long before the leading Torana comes into the pits, and the number 1 slot passes to Chivers. Here comes Bond now. First, let him pit know he's on his way. Gagan with the car. It's his first drive for the Holden dealers team also. And like Chivers, it's a big moment as Bond tells him about track conditions. Like Brock and Chivers, Gagan and Bond are a formidable combination, and they'll be right in there at the flag. There goes Chivers to grab the lead. Bond has driven a sure and steady race, running to instructions and playing the waiting game.
I'm going to do a few more laps than we thought we may be able to do on our fuel. In fact, we're about 6 laps up than the third distance. It just means now that we can sort of do it with 1 more stop only and sort of no problem. We feel that Ford are going to need 3 stops, and just having 1 stop alone, it must give us an advantage.
The casualty comes in, but the mortality rate's dropped off a little. Let's check out the control tower scene. An army of officials are keeping track on the cars, feeding information into the IBM computer for accurate lap scoring. Oh, Chivers and Ian Gagan in close company. That means Leo Gagan's been overhauled by his younger brother. This is just what we were talking about. You need a computer to keep up with it. Lap printouts by a team of IBM experts underneath us. They're linked with the company's huge facility in Sydney, and the information feed-outs are completely accurate and up-to-date. No way we could keep up with the race otherwise. And right now, according to the feed coming back, there's Chivers confirmed as leader, but Ian Gagan, who's driving like a demon, is hauled right up on his tail. Now car 5 into the pits. Goss is back at the wheel, but they're in trouble. Up the top, Ian Gagan has taken Chivers. Exhaust trouble. Wondered why Bathurst came in a little slowly.
Friends, we'd almost forgotten about it. He's down in 5th, having a lonely drive, and appears to be quite out of it since that unscheduled stop upset his plans.
Goss is out again. He's really got to move it now.
And there's Chivers. Ian Gagan's missing. Oh, it's all right. He's gone into the pits for Moffat to take over for the final stint to the flag.
First, Brock and Bob, the Holden dealer team leader. He's banking on getting his two cars through with just one more stop each, which means that they'll score a crucial advantage. At this stage, the Toranas are well on top. And Brock is so unconcerned that he's gone to sleep.
And Goss all over the place. He's been in a collision. Garth's Torana is upended in the cutting. Yes, we've just received a report from officials on the spot. Several cars were apparently involved in the accident. Garth rolled and was hit by Goss.
The Ford's taken a heavy blow at the front. I wouldn't be surprised if the damage is sufficient to sideline the Ford. This is a real shame, because Goss put up a tremendous display until his first pit stop, and he still looked a chance until the car developed exhaust trouble. So, with Gibson out, Goss about to start running on borrowed time, the Ford's only hope is Moffat. The Torana crew still looks extremely confident. Chivas is over a minute and a half in front of Moffat, and Holden will really have to trip and fall to lose this one.
Hey, look at that for a shot. He's passing the car he hit. Moffat's in shot too, but he's a couple of laps in front of the Yellow Falcon. Moffat's got to get a move on because Chivas is well ahead. There's the Torana now. It shouldn't be too long before he comes in for a stop. Goss goes past. Car sounding rough. Must have been more damage than we thought.
There's another retirement. Mightn't be too long before Goss joins them. Go for maximum laps. They want Chivas to stay out for as long as he can. First, from his vantage point. Something's wrong. Chivas is going...
What it is? Doug Chivas coming down the straight. He looks like he's out of fuel.
Must be fuel. Must be.
He's slowing.
Yes, he's getting ready to jump out.
The way that he's obviously trying to get the car back to the pits, perhaps...
Calculation somewhere along
The car is pushing, so it must be fuel. Just been told that he's coasted from Reed Park.
Training. Car number 1 to the pits with Alan Moffat.
There goes Moffat coming up the park. Look at Brock. The race is slipping away through his fingers, and he can't do a thing about it. Moffat has gone past. What a break for the Ford pit. Brock. Oh, look at him. Angry, frustrated. What's gone wrong, he's shouting. Those officials can't touch the car. If they do, Chivas will be instantly disqualified. Chivas must push the car.
Right, and then he can be assisted by other people. Colin Bond's motor side, and therefore...
What an agonising moment. No one can help him. He's all on his own. And now Leo Gagan has gone past as well, which means that car 1 has dropped from first to third. Push, Dunn, push. They're begging him, pleading with him, encouraging him on. He's over 50, that car weighs a ton, uphill, and he's already tired from a long stint at the wheel. Look at his face. And Brock, when can we push it, he's asking. They've got to get it moving. Moffat's getting further ahead. Chivas, how far, he's saying. Draining every muscle. Eyes blinded with sweat, oblivious to the pleas of Torana mechanics and Brock. And Firth in the pit now, worried, desperately worried. He's nearly there. The mechanics thrusted around the back of the car, and there they go. Now another race against time. Oh, did you see Brock shove Chivas to one side? They're on the pleasantries now. Time. So desperately short now. And there's Chivas, absolutely beat. A great effort, an impossible task, and he got it there to keep the team in the race. Fuel going in, the team must have lost about 3 minutes overall. Brock, anxiety written on his face, he must get going again. Come on, look at the time. He's fired, he's revving it, he's off. The Torana's back in the race. What's first on the turn?
Oh, it's like everything else. Your best laid plans, you calculate something and the wind blows a bit harder and people get in the road. And the fuel gauge doesn't work, obviously, because he had no warning and it didn't come on to the 4321, so obviously the fuel gauge has stopped working and that's that.
Well, where does this put you now? It must be a very bitter moment for you.
Not very happy, actually, because we were a minute 40 in front, and we deliberately given a little bit of time away to get some extra mileage. And if we'd had any doubt about this, we would have pulled up and put some in it. Oh, it's all very well to be wise afterwards. It's happened, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's pretty hard to get back to.
The rest of it was just one of those things, a little miscalculation perhaps, or a little bit of over-optimism on what sort of fuel consumption we had hoped to get, and it was just half a lap too much. As it subsequently turned out, there's no risk. We would have won it quite comfortably.
Do or die now. Frank all stops out, chase to the flag. Bond, he's held on to his second, but Brock, driving close to the limit, will obviously be right with him before too long.
French has gone, actually blew with Skelton at the wheel. Almost missed it with all the excitement. And now Moffat's in. This is a vital stop for the Ford. Bond isn't that far behind, and they can't afford a slow stop. Moffat, he knows he's lucky. He knows he has to get out again in double quick time.
Bond in the Essex shows just how close he is. About a minute and a half. He's looming as the big threat to Moffat.
Marsden, come on, get it moving. In goes the BP fuel for the vital last sprint. Moffat can't afford the slightest slip over these last 40 laps because the Toranas will pounce and grab a lead they claim is theirs. A can of Coke for the driver, and Moffat's just about ready to go. Marsden can't stand the strain. He knows how Firth must feel.
Bond, Forest Elba, the length of the straightaway. But time's running out, he won't get there.
And out Moffat goes. Look at the time, a very quick stop. Oh, when it rains, it pours. Brock's coming for fuel, of all things. This will put him even further behind now.
But look, Bond's blown a tyre up on the mountain.
Out goes Brock, and this will probably put him back up in the second slot with a chance of getting Moffat again. Ford are letting Moffat know Brock's made 3 stops. That'll ease his mind a little. In comes Bond. It's the left rear that's gone. This will undoubtedly drop him down a slot because it should take at least 35 seconds to change the wheel. Quite a blow for the popular Sydney driver. Firth watching. What else can go wrong? Yes, there's Brock going past in the second slot again. And Firth watches them go. Watches them set off in a chase of a crowd that was theirs for the asking, but for a pint of petrol.
And the chase is on. The leader is 85 seconds in front of the first of the 2 Works Toranas, and the Holden dealer team drivers are grimly determined to win back that coveted front position. But it'll be an almost impossible task. 85 seconds and only 10 laps to go. Just 50 kilometers of the 1,000 to run. From a 90-second lead to an 85-second deficit. That is their task. They give the nimble 6-cylinder Toranas merciless punishment in their never-relenting pursuit of the bigger engine V8. It is a classic chase, a chase in search of victory stolen from their grasp by human error. A simple miscalculation, a quirk of fate.
Murray's corner 2 matches. Moffat follows them down. These 2 cars are just very quick. Just look at the bit of the stripe here. Oh, yes, right into the wind. Well, we thought that was going to come.
The 2 cars run sure and hard, but time for Brock and Bond is slowly running out. Last lap. Is it too late? The Toranas have stripped away much of the leader's buffeting margin, and as they go past the pits for the second last time on their way up the mountain, the gap between Moffat and Brock is down to less than a minute. But Motorsport, as the lead Torana running out of fuel has shown, follows no set rules. There is still time for fate to play a role, but it's Brock who again reels from a sudden and cruel blow.
So it's, oh, look, if it's up on top of the mountain, it's a Mazda, it's crashed, it's bounced off the fence, look at it.
Moffat, perilously close, escapes the whirling debris from the crashed Mazda and the threat of puncture or mechanical damage. He flees down the mountain from the carnage, while for Brock, blue smoke and the shriek of tortured rubber signals a shattered tire. Nothing can stop Moffat now. Victory is his. Brock and his wounded Torana fight to the finish. At least he knows he cannot be beaten for second, that his Torana teammate Bond is secure in third. So, Moffat and Ford take the Bathurst crown. For Brock, Bond, Firth and Torana, it's a trophy that's been torn from their grasp in emotionally cruel fashion. Certain winners, but for a pint of petrol. They may not have won, but the Bathurst 1000 has again proved the strength of their mounts. They'll be back, and there will be other motor races.
There were other races. It's Bathurst is just one race of a series, the Manufacturers' Championships. Before Bathurst, we had one at Sandown, and at this stage there were 2 rounds to go, Surfers Paradise and Phillip Island. We went on to win both at Surfers Paradise 1, 2, 3, and at Phillip Island 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A good year for Torana. Of the 5 races in the Manufacturers Series, Torana won 3, and we think our 2, 3, 4, 5 added up to a moral victory at Bathurst as well.
Well, Bonnie, that 73 Bathurst, that's one that got away, really.
Yeah, I think Moff was lucky, but he was lucky a couple of times over the years.
He was lucky in 1977.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem I can always remember in that particular period was that the Fords could always sort of out-qualify us in qualifying.
Yeah.
But as soon as the race came, you know,
that's when you would out-qualify.
You could start passing them, but the bloody slow ones would hold you up too.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Actually, the typical thing that would happen is if you got shuffled back in the first lap, particularly go mountain straight first up, because they had plenty of grunt.
Sure.
You might finish up behind, say, maybe max 6, 7, something like that. And you think, excuse me, we need to get by these guys. I need to get Moffats. I'm zeroing on a Moffat, you know. And you needed to perhaps take 4 or 5 laps to get by. In which case, you might have given him about 10 seconds.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that, but it was exciting racing, and you drove hard all day, didn't you?
Oh yeah, and they were the days too. There was no such thing as safety cars we have now. You know, if there was crashes on the track, the bloody people would be out on the track picking the cars up, and you had to dodge
trucks.
them.
Sometimes you'd go past, it's a tray truck going through the dipper, and you come over there at Warp Factor in this XU-1 on 2 wheels, and here's the tray of a truck, it's just sort of dive underneath the back of it. But that's the way it was. You raced every lap for, well, in those days, what was it, 160 odd laps, I guess?
Yeah, well, it's still the same, 162, I think, later on. When we went from 500 miles to the 1,000 kilometres, you know, it sort of changed.
But 1,000k, we never had a cooling off period except for the pit stops.
Yeah.
Now, pit stops were a more leisurely affair.
Well, I mean, a good pit stop in those days, I think, was about a minute. And the silly thing was, too, I mean, when you looked how we used to refuel the cars, you know, with a churn. Yeah. And it was quite dangerous, really. And we did,
but
I mean, a few cars caught fire. Well, we had a few fires here and there. Not in our situation, but I knew a few did later on.
Yeah. And then, of course, the regulations said you had to only use certain type of equipment.
Sure.
So it wasn't as if we were completely dunderheads. I mean, there were regulations saying, no, you've got to use this. This is all you can use. And it kept things sort of down to a dull roar, I suppose, as far as costs were concerned.
Well, put it this way, the boys used to practice an awful lot in the workshop as well to do the pit stops in a hurry. But as you say, they were limited on how we could change the wheels, and no centre locks, you know, you had to undo all the wheel nuts and have the jacks weren't on board like they are now. You had to put things under them and pump the jacks up, you know.
Which worked all right.
Yeah, not a problem. But still, it did take a bit longer. Mind you, it was nicer for the pit stops. You have a talk to the co-driver, or he could put his head in the window.
Do a TV interview, Bonnie.
Have a can of Coke or whatever it was. Plenty of time.
Anyway, look, we won't go into that. But another movie coming up, very weird movie. There's this French guy.
He likes driving around on 2 wheels.
I think he was from Tour de France or something like that. He thought he was on a bike or something.
Possibly. But it was quite skilled. No mate of mine. I tried to emulate him that time, in 72, but I couldn't do it. But no, what he did in an XU-1, or no, I suppose our XU-1s, they're Toranas anyway.
2600. 3 on a tree or something. I don't know what they were.
Had obviously a modified sump pickup because the thing's up on 2 wheels, at least at 45
what
degrees.
What a strange movie. Anyway.
Still, he toured Australia and people came and watched him.
Well, let's have a look at it.
Well, the technique is only a feeling, you see. A feeling of driving and a trust of a car. It is the first time I've been driving Toranas, and I'm very, very happy. I even said that in these tracks I will never try it with another car as a Torana because I feel very...
The feeling, the perception and balance, the incredible ability to juggle throttle against enormous pressures on tires and suspension components. This is the skill of Jose Kenga. Josie to all who know him.
Many people have been asking me in 14 years ago that I'm doing that, how you do it, because it looks very easy to make it like that. And I used to say, when you see Jackie Stewart or Jim Clark at the time taking a corner on Formula 1 at 150 miles an hour, it looks very easy. But if you go there and try it, it's another thing.
It's another thing. He's right. Josie Kenga is the only stunt driver to have perfected the 2-wheel stunt.
He's training one of his French hill drivers to partner him in a double carry. But the pupil candidly admits that the master is the only one who really understands the feel. In a year, Josie Kanga and his French hill drivers give performances in every major town and city in Australia. They will amaze with their two-wheel Toranas, precision driving, and a variety of other stunts, highlighted by deliberate destruction of old motor vehicles.
Well, in the actual crashing of a motor car, the most important thing is the harness, you know, your safety belts, and the crash helmet, and to have the windscreen out of the car in case of flying glass when you have the impact, as the impact is anything from 60 miles an hour to 100 miles an hour, depending on the distance to get the speed. With rolling motor cars, we use just a lap strap so that you can watch the roof coming in as you go over, and at least you can get away from it.
You make it sound too simple.
Well, it is quite simple if you know the safety side. You know, we don't take any chances.
Don't take any chances. Like the two-wheel act, it's a feel, perhaps a neck-snapping, bone-jarring, crashing, thumping experience. But nevertheless, a feel, for in stunt driving, the precautions are careful and the execution meticulously planned. Injury is a split second away for the French hill drivers. In a second and a half, 3 rolls and the car is junk. Protected by safety harness, padding and face mask. The hill driver is unhurt, emerging from the battered wreck, ready to stunt again, for thrills, for kicks. Even they don't know why they do it. Perhaps it's the simple excitement, or the feel.
Myself, I don't like to use it, to do it, you see. I don't roll the cars, but anyway, you got some cars which are not good to roll and some which are good to roll.
I don't like
to do it in a safety
Josie
way,
Kanga
and
prefers
do
to
it in a
stick to
safety
two-wheeling
way. We prepare the cars.
and to
So,
precision driving.
We prepare the cars. I mean, we don't.
It also
roll
takes a
around
little more
things
skill.
like that, but we got a special preparation on the car that is safe.
Josie Kanga and his team have perfected the two-wheel stunt after years of trial and error. It looks smooth, almost easy, but in reality, it's incredibly difficult. And that feel is very much a driver requirement. The calculated ramp height puts the Torana on the two wheels at a 45-degree angle, not sufficient to put it on its roof. And as the vehicle tries to settle back on its wheels, an opposite steering action finds and holds the point of inertia. Kanga regards the Torana as ideal for the stunt. Well-balanced, light, but rugged. It also handles the demanding slalom and crossover stunts with ease. About the only stunts it doesn't take on are...
All right.
Oh, that's it, Scotty. Finished. How do you like all the petrol flying around?
Oh, I quite like it myself. Yeah, the smell of hell driving.
Ah, the smell of hill driving. But that fuel gushed from the tank, and it could have ignited, turning the car into a flaming torch. That's why attendants stand by with powerful extinguishers and rescue equipment, because the odds are always questionable. But sometimes, fire is deliberately encouraged by the French hill drivers.
It's as fast as I could go, and we rig it up so that it does catch a light when we hit the other car. But I'd have liked to go faster, but it's as fast as I could get. How fast were you going? Approximately like 60 miles an hour. It's between 60 and 70 miles an hour.
The adulation from the crowd makes it worthwhile to Josie Kanga and his French hill drivers. They set out to entertain, and in the true traditions of the stage, they save the finale for last.
The long jump is always, it's a very exciting thing to do, is the speed onto the ramp gives you that minus G feeling, you know, and of course you're up there and you feel the complete weight of your body, and with the weight of the car when you come down and the impact, every jump is different, you know, but there again we have the windscreen out and the full safety harness in, but it's more dangerous as the roof could come in and you can't get away from the roof. But we always manage. We loosen the safety belts quick enough or something like that.
It's very dangerous. We take all the precautions which we think it's possible to make, but like today you saw Jackie, he's been hurt, not much, but he could have a big smash, you see. I think he's going to be at least out of the jump for another week at least.
What happened to him?
He smashed his legs.
He's hurt his legs?
Yeah.
Badly?
I don't think so badly, but we will see now.
First time on the tour something like this has happened?
Yeah, it is. Okay, let's go. Come on.
Two hours of action. A country town. A Sunday afternoon. This scene is repeated all over Australia as the French hill drivers do their thing. Two-wheeling, crashing, car-busting, antics that justifiably earn them their title of hill drivers. Josie Kanga and his team are masters at their strange art. While others have gone before them and others will follow, two-wheeling a Torana will be a hard act to follow.
So anyway, great era, and won a lot of races. And I remember towards the middle of '73, I actually remember going to Surfers Paradise, and I had the XU-1 second spot on the grid. You weren't there this weekend. And I had the SLR 5000, the new car, on pole position. And that was probably the definitive moment. That was the end of the XU-1 sort of era, but fantastic while it lasted.
Oh yeah, good fun.
Yeah.